What's up, YouTube? It's the Texans Better Talk Show back with another video. The Texans are able to do enough. They hang on to the win against the Indianapolis Colts. A nail biter, a lot of things to talk about. We're going to get straight into it with some key points. Key point number one, I'm a Shane Steichen supporter. I think he's a good coach. I don't know what he was doing in the first half of this game. It was clear in the first half of this game he was dead set on throwing the ball with Anthony Richardson. And I get he had three huge plays in week one. I get he had one big play in this game. But it is very clear that Anthony Richardson is not that guy in the pocket. And it's almost weird because it's like, well, if we are kind of afraid to run with him because he's been getting hurt so much, you kind of have to use him as a passer. But without his running ability, Anthony Richardson is less than half of the quarterback that you would want. I mean, even as a Colts fan. So really, Anthony Richardson kept us in this game at times. He was 2 for 12 at the half. And I'm sitting here thinking, Shane Steichen, what are you doing? Run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. Run the ball with Anthony Richardson. I know you don't want him to get hurt, but he is just not the passer. And that was really what stuck out to me right off the jump. Some couple other things. Look, Diggs, we need to make sure Diggs is okay. They said it was a knee injury. He obviously did not return to the game. Not really sure what that was. And I think we'll talk about some other key points as we kind of get through this breakdown. So let's just do the breakdown first. This is a drive-by-drive breakdown of the game. So the Texans get the ball first. Nice return by Dameon Pierce. I am all for Dameon Pierce being the guy to return kickoffs from now on. And we put together a good drive. Mixon has a nice rush. Diggs has a 16-yard reception. The drive stalls. We kick a field goal, 3-0. The Colts get the ball. They have a nice return. And then Eric Murray comes out with like 3 consecutive pass breakups. Or 2 consecutive. Sting gets a pass breakup. And this first Colts drive, it became very apparent that they were not afraid to throw the ball with Richardson. And one of my keys to the game in my last video was let Richardson throw the ball. They allowed Richardson to throw the ball. I was shocked. I mean, they didn't run the ball at all their first drive. And they just threw it with Richardson. That being said, they were able to put a field goal up. We get there. We get the ball the second time. We punt it. They get the ball. Our defense steps up. Devin White played a majority of the snaps at linebacker this game. The first time he came in, both plays back-to-back, he just blitzed the quarterback. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe Devin White's just here to blitz. No, he played significant minutes at linebacker. So that was really interesting to see the Devin White pickup for Jake Hansen, who was benched, you could say. I don't know. He didn't play as much. So anyway, Autry gets a pressure, they punt. Then we get the line back, and this is where we get the ball back, and this is where the Houston O-line really sticks out. Kenyon Green had the worst sequence I've ever seen from him, and that's saying a lot because he's been pretty bad. Stroud is hit hard by Buckner because of Green, and then he's sacked because of Green. And we have to punt, we go 3 and out. And it's at this point in time, I'm literally screaming at my TV, bench Green, he needs to be benched. Then we give the ball back to the Colts, and this huge 70-yard touchdown, big explosive play. It would end up being Anthony Richardson's second completion of the half, a 70-yard touchdown to Josh Downs. And here, as a Texans fan, you're thinking, you've got to be kidding me. We're down 7 again in the first quarter to Anthony Richardson, who's thrown 2 completions. This cannot be another game where we let them have these huge explosive plays. And then you're starting to think maybe Shane Steichen's onto something with Richardson throwing the ball. Nevertheless, we get the ball back. Patterson's at left guard. Okay, Kenyon Green's benched. It's not Kendrick Green. It's Jared Patterson at left guard. Sadly, this wouldn't go extremely well. Schultz had a nice pickup of 15. Diggs reverse. He loses 4 or 5. And then Woods gets a nice completion. And then Mixon gets hurt. Patterson gets hurt on the Joe Mixon touchdown. Just an insane touchdown from Joe Mixon. He's probably been the best addition to this offense, or to this team really, in the offseason. Joe Mixon is a monster. So we're able to score, and then everything kind of slows down for both offenses. Our defense picks up, they go 3 and out, we go 3 and out, we go 3 and out, and then they go 3 and out. So there's 4 back-to-back 3 and outs, 2 by each team. I don't know if I got the order right. And then we punt again. Stroud gets sacked out of field goal range. We could have had 3. He gets sacked. We get pushed out. And here, Richardson, they're trying to make something happen in their own end zone. Richardson nearly gets picked by Lassiter, and then he does get picked by Petrie. On the very next play, Tank Dell scores a touchdown. So happy that Tank Dell's in there. and able to do his thing. And that's the half. So we go into the half 17-10. We're up by 7. Now the Colts come out, and Shane Steichen puts together a impressive beginning of the second half. This is the Shane Steichen I was expecting his offense to kind of look like. Jonathan Taylor with the rush, Richardson with an option, Mitchell gets a catch, and then we kind of catch a break. Richardson fumbles, and we recover the ball. Then they do this weird fake play thing where they try to get us off sides or to use a timeout. It doesn't work. They punt, whatever. And then after that, we get a nice drive going. We get Mixon for 9, Hutchinson with a great catch for 19. Then we kind of speed it up. We're like, go, go, go. We don't want them to review it or challenge it. I think it would have been a catch either way. But nevertheless, right after that, we're moving fast. Diggs gets a 50-yard completion, and then Mechie gets a 4-yard completion. So that was great. After that, we kind of had a missed snap. The snap sails over Stroud's head, and we catch it. He throws it at the ground. There's more pressure, and what started off as a good drive ultimately ends up in a field goal. At this point, we're at 17 unanswered points, right? 20-10. So then we get another great defensive stop, and, they punt. So initially they punt, and then there's a penalty. Someone went off sides. So then they go for it, and Richardson ends up rushing for 12 yards. Then Taylor has a 28-yard rush. This is the same drive where Bullock gets shaken up. Luckily, he comes back in. Pierce catches a touchdown, but there's a flag. They say it was on Pierce. It really should have been offensive pass interference on Pittman. Richardson avoids a sack. He's hurt. He taps his helmet. Flacco comes in, hands the ball off, and they kick a field goal. So they're finally able to kick a field goal. This is around the time where Diggs gets hurt. Right after Diggs gets hurt, Dell has a nice catch. Mixon has a nice catch and run. And then we get a vintage Laramie false start, and it's 2nd and 19 at this point. After this, we get Mechie with a 32-yard grab. Great play from Mechie. One of his longest play of the year, his second catch of the year. Again, great play. Nevertheless, after that, things would start to stall, and we settle for a field goal. So the Colts get the ball back. Pittman has a reception. Downs has a reception. Pierce has a first down conversion. And then our defense kind of locks up. Josh Downs doesn't get it at the 1. Taylor doesn't get it. And then finally Taylor scores. So this happened on the catch where it was initially a touchdown, but they put it at like the 1-yard line, and Taylor scores. He's scored a touchdown against us like every game he's played or something crazy like that. But we keep going. We put together a really nice drive. A lot of people get in on it. Mixon starts to pick it up in the rushing game. He goes for 8, 13, 22. Dell goes for 11. And then we fumbled the ball. And at this point, you're thinking, first of all, please don't be a touchdown. It wasn't, because Mixon pushed him down. But at this point, you're like, we cannot give this game up to the Colts. Please, we cannot give this game up to the Colts. We don't. We get a false start on the Colts. Defense locks up. Hunter gets the sack. They punt. And here we're at an interesting situation. This situation reminded me very much of the Green Bay game, where we have the ball. They have 2 timeouts, I believe. And what do? We run the ball with Joe Mixon 3 times in a row. I was fine with the play call. I'm all for it. You don't want another fiasco happening like what happened at Green Bay, where you run the ball twice and then you throw it and don't kill any time. So we committed to the run. Everyone knew we were running, but it doesn't matter. We burn their first timeout, we burn their second timeout, and the third Joe Mixon run takes off like 30 seconds on the clock. And then the crazy ending that shouldn't have been this crazy. We punt it back. There's a block in the back on the Colts, so they're starting deep in their own territory. Richardson has a nice 26-yard run, but he stays in bounds, which is just, not knowing the situation. 3 incompletions in a row. They get a first down, and then to end the game, Danielle Hunter gets a strip sack. There's 1 second on the clock, and we finally get the W. So that was kind of a rundown. Again, some things to take note of, some key points going back to the key points. Richardson, I don't know if he's that guy. If you're not getting a Richardson who can run the ball and who can take hits, then I don't know if the Colts are gonna be continuing with Richardson. I genuinely thought at the half that he was gonna be benched, and I know he has a long leash on the Colts. He's a 4th overall pick, but I mean Joe Flacco's TD to interception rate is significantly higher than Richardson's. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So that was the first thing. Second thing is, please, Diggs. Hopefully that's not a long injury. We still have another game before Nico Collins gets back. We need Diggs to be good. third, I don't know why we always get in these situations where we make the game so close. It almost feels like, as a Texans fan, we can never close out games. Like, we could have closed this game out with a touchdown. And what do? Stroud fumbles the ball to Mixon or whatever, and we fumble it in the red zone. Like, this can't happen if we're going to be a good team. The reality is, like, you're not going to get away with that if you're playing against a better quarterback. And that's just the reality. You're not going to get away with that if you're playing against a better quarterback. Thought Dell had kind of a bounce back game. He obviously has the touchdown, and he obviously had maybe 30, 40 yards. So great game from Dell. Diggs also had a great game, minus the injury. So really happy with the passing attack. The last key point I'll really bring up is we need a offensive line solution. If Jared Patterson, I believe they said he has a concussion, if he's not able to fill in for Kenyon Green next week, you need to explore getting a left guard. Like, seriously, I thought that Kendrick Green would fill in for Kenyon Green. They are obviously not as high on him. They believe in Jared Patterson more. Well, he's probably missing a week because he has a concussion. So there needs to be an offensive line something. I don't know what it is, but Kenyon Green had back-to-back-to-back plays where it genuinely looked like he's lost in pass protection. He's jumping too far forward, and guys are just wrapping around him. And CJ Stroud's getting hit far too many times from Kenyon Green's guy. That was honestly just horrible to watch. But some positives, Devin White getting good minutes, filled in pretty nicely. He almost got scored on, but the guy dropped the ball. Goodson, we'll ignore that. But yeah, he played pretty well. Autry got his name called a few times. Lassiter, I thought the secondary overall played a great game. I mean, you did have Petrie giving up the touchdown twice, really, if you count the mesh screen. So that was that. But Lassiter played really well. Stingley played really well. And Eric Murray kind of had a great game. He breaking up passes left and right in the beginning. And that's to be expected. Anthony Richardson's not the best passer in the game. But it still felt like our defense really delivered, really helped out our offense a lot because our offense continues to stall. So that's really all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Any key parts, things I missed, and what do you think about this O-line situation? So that's really all I got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.